Snackbar. Today is a very, very, very special episode. But before we do that, is there anything that you watched since the last episode that you want to talk about, Jet?
Hi.
There's a lot of films. Oh,
Yeah.
hi, Jet. Sorry, I'm so excited.
Hi, Jerry. Yeah, I really wanted to do an episode for Aquaman and Bumblebee and maybe Mary Poppins Returns. So we'll
Yeah.
we'll run through like the winter blockbuster rundown. We'll do a bit of that
Mhm.
before we get to today's main event, which I know you're very excited about.
Yes.
Yeah, so what was the chronology in which it came out? Okay, let's do Aquaman first.
Yeah. I loved
I
Aquaman.
loved Aquaman. I think it's one of my favorite movies of last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not one of my favorite movies last year, but I think it is so much fun and it is so confident of what it is and it doesn't ever look back. And I love a confident director, and I think that this film is the story is okay, but you can tell that everyone was having fun. So I had fun along with the cast and the crew members, I guess, and it's really cool to see a princess kick ass. So I was really, really happy with this film.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it, saying that this is a movie that's really confident of what it is. I think very early on, the movie kind of makes a handshake with the audience. It's like you have to be on board for where this is going. You have to accept that it's going to be silly, but if you give us that trust, if you go along with it, you'll be rewarded. I think
Mhm.
that's what the movie does really early on. And it's a great approach because the way that James Wan came at it from is, look, I know people think Aquaman is lame, and the meme of Aquaman being lame has been around for a long time. So we're going to lean into that a bit. We're going to accept that perception, but we're also going to have fun with the character, and we're not necessarily going to change your mind by making him just a complete badass. But if you stick with us, you'll see why there's more to the character than what you thought there was before. So that's a really, really good approach.
Yeah, and I think the comedy works for most part, and the visual effects are really well done.
Yeah,
The hair, I thought the hair animation was kind of weird when they were underwater, but I mean, I don't know, whatever. I don't care about that. I just really love the dynamic between Aquaman and what's the lady's name?
Mara.
Mara, yeah. I
Yeah,
think both of them did a wonderful job, and I I really like the villain. I
yeah,
think it's
yeah.
because I like the actor. I forgot his name.
Patrick
The
Wilson from The
Yeah,
Conjuring.
Patrick
Yeah.
Wilson from The Conjuring and Phantom of the Opera, and he
Yes,
can sing really well, and I
Raul.
just realized that.
He,
Yeah.
yeah, he's the best singer of the three of them, of Emmy
Mhm.
Rossum, Gerard Butler, and I mean, let's not count Gerard Butler. Let's just count
Yeah.
Emmy Rossum and him, and he was better than her because she was, I think, 17 when she did the movie,
Mhm.
so her voice was not yet mature. I think now she's probably a much better singer than she was then.
Yeah.
But by that time, he
She.
had already like been on Broadway and everything.
Yeah. And she was on Conan like some time ago, and she could sing really well. So I guess it really was a maturity thing.
Yeah,
But I really recommended. I recommended Aquaman to most people that I saw, but I'm really scared to recommend that at the same time because you really have to be on board with that film. And
yeah,
if you're
it's
not
a
on
it's a
board
leap
with
of
that
faith,
film,
Yeah,
yeah, it's just a really fun film. And even if you don't like it, I can't I don't know whether you'll be bored, you
yeah.
know? Because it's very entertaining, and
Even
I
if
thought,
even if you find it bad, you'll find it an interesting kind of bad.
yeah,
Yeah.
I love Mara. She's awesome.
Oh,
She's really cool.
she's so great. This is a character that I really, really love from the comics and I've loved from the animated series. And so I was really excited to see what they would do with the character. And I liked it a lot. I think like you have gone on the record saying that you do not like most romances in comic book movies, but I really think they
Yeah,
handled this one very well. I like that. Like most of the first half of the movie, she's just fed up with how stupid he is. But
yeah,
then the turning point is the scene in Sicily, which is set to Roy Orbison's She's a Mystery to Me. And then after that point, like you sort of see how it becomes a romance, how they end up liking each other. And I really like that scene. I love the scene where she eats the flower
mhm,
and then he, instead of correcting her like he would have 5 minutes ago, he eats the flower too. He goes along with it. And it's
yeah.
so cute. It's so, so cute. And then she like kills a bunch of bad guys using wine. It's great. It's just
Yeah.
great.
And I love I love that they had a reason behind that huge hit that Manta. What's his name again? Manta.
Black Manta,
Black
yeah.
Manta. Yeah,
Also,
Black
like
Manta
a very
has.
cool DC villain that I have been looking forward to seeing in live action for a while. Yeah,
Yeah.
I really, really liked this movie, and I think like I don't understand it when people say there's too much CGI. Like, how else are you gonna do this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that you can see there was a lot of trial and error. And there was something very interesting I learned about James Wan making this movie. He said that DC offered him either Aquaman or The Flash. And he
Mhm.
chose Aquaman because he thought Aquaman was the underdog. And that's
Yeah.
such a brave thing. Like, it is obviously a lot easier to make a movie of The Flash,
Mhm.
but he chose the one that would be harder. And this is one of those movies where it's like it's rare that you watch a movie today and every 5 seconds you're going, well, how did they do that? Because
Mhm.
audiences know how movies are made, and we expect um cinematic like universe movies to look and feel a certain way. And it was quite interesting because a friend of mine told me that she felt like the character introductions in Aquaman were very sudden. And then after a while, I realized that this is because we have become used to the MCU style of the characters pop up in a few movies before they have a movie where they appear like in their full form. So because we are meeting some of the characters for the first time, it feels like it's sudden, but actually it's not. That's the normal way a movie would go. But we've just gotten so used to the 20 interconnected movies of the MCU. So that's really like changed expectations and perceptions.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad thing, but at the same time, like we have to remember that this is the sixth DCEU movie, I think, and there are 20 Marvel movies, so we can't expect them to be at the same level of development. And it is interesting because this movie, like, it does a very good job of ignoring and also taking on board parts of the earlier movies. Like, they acknowledge Steppenwolf, but it is very standalone. You don't have to have seen
Yeah.
Batman v Superman or Suicide Squad or anything like that to watch Aquaman.
I agree. You said a lot of things that I agree with, and I have nothing else to add on to because I think both of us really enjoyed this
Yeah, I
film.
love this movie
Like
so much. Yeah.
I remember seeing your status, your Facebook status before I went to see that movie, and you thought that it was super good. I think you said it was like one of the best. What was it? The best comic book film this year or something?
Yeah, I
Was
think
it you that said that?
it's my favorite comic book movie of 2018. Like, I
Yeah.
don't I like the thing is I gave it like a perfect 5 out of 5 star rating, and I bounced back and forth about that because it's not perfect, but it's also perfect.
Yeah, yeah. No, I
Yeah,
totally get it.
you get what I mean, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Cause I've loved games that I've played, and I thought they were 10 out of 10 games, but I still complain a lot about the flaws that those games have. But I
Yeah,
still think overall it gave me the feeling that I want, and I totally understand why you would give this a 5 out of 5
yeah.
because this film knew what it was, and it
It went all the way
it
with
did
it.
not
Yeah.
apologize. Yeah, it did not apologize for what it was, and
Oh
I
my god, the giant octopus playing the drums,
yes.
which is a character from the comics I found out later. And Julie Andrews is like a giant racist sea monster. It's just perfect. There's just too many
Wait,
things.
Julie Andrews was in
She
this?
was the character at the very end. Was this, you
Oh,
dare come here with your mongrel blood? That's Julie
oh,
Andrews.
I didn't know that.
She's basically using the same voice that she uses as Gru's mother in the Despicable Me
Okay.
movies.
Oh, I didn't know that. That is awesome.
It's amazing, right? She said,
Maybe now it
yeah.
is a 5 out of 5 film for me.
She said her grandson convinced her to be in this movie. So
Oh, that's
it
great.
is so badass that Julie Andrews is in Aquaman and not in Mary Poppins Returns for some reason. It's so amazing. Yeah, sorry, I cut you off. I was just too excited to talk about Julie Andrews as a giant racist sea
No,
monster.
I totally understand. I totally understand.
Good movie. Yeah.
Yeah, so both of us really loved it and both of us really recommend it. And honestly, you should watch this if you haven't on the big screen because it is a big screen kind of film.
Yeah. There's a
I
lot of
cannot
love put into the
imagine
visuals
yeah, and I cannot imagine watching it on a small phone
on a plane.
or
Yeah.
even your computer. But yeah. So speaking of Julie Andrews, let's go on to Mary Poppins Returns. I did not like this film.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, did you?
I liked it, but at the same time, I understand why it got the criticism that it did. Like, I don't disagree with the main criticism, which is that I think a lot of people, this is kind of comparable to The Force Awakens, where it's a movie that is set like about 30 years after the first one, but it's also a remake. So
Yeah.
it's trying to hit the same highs that the original hit, but it also is not supposed to be it's also supposed to be a continuation, so it finds itself caught between being a sequel and a remake. But for what it was, I enjoyed it.
I mean, I haven't seen Mary Poppins since I let go of Disney Channel. And the only thing that kept Mary Poppins alive for me was Julie Andrews and the songs. I don't remember Mary Poppins having an action scene in it. So I was kind of put off by that. And I thought I love Emily Blunt, and I think she's amazing in almost everything except that Huntsman film, but she
She was not the problem with that movie.
she kind of, well, she did not care though.
Yeah, yeah. She was like evil Elsa in that movie.
I just think Mary Poppins, I just found it so boring, as in Mary Poppins Returns. The
Okay.
visual effects were okay. The 2D animation part was really awesome. I really enjoyed that scene,
Yeah,
but
the Royal Dalton Bowl.
the songs were
I
okay.
like the
Here,
songs a lot. I thought that the songs, like, I mean, they cannot match the Sherman Brothers songs, but I think Shaman and Whitman were trying very, very hard.
yeah, but I don't like Emily Blunt doesn't feel like a Julie Andrews successor, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's she doesn't have the same charm. Like she is her own thing, I guess that's the problem. It's not really, well, it is her, but it's also you can't replicate someone like Julie Andrews.
Yeah,
And
I don't know where I heard it, but I think like she said she was trying to be closer to the books version of Mary Poppins, so that may
yeah.
be it.
Yeah, it comes across. But I just wish Disney didn't touch Mary Poppins because we know the story with PL Travers. Is it PLPT? PL Travers,
I
right?
think so. Yeah,
And
Emma
she said
Thompson. Yeah.
she never wanted Americans to touch Mary Poppins ever again. So I think this is kind of a terrible thing to do, to take her property again. I know she's probably a terrible person because a lot of people said that, and her own adopted son wanted nothing to do with her.
Right, yeah.
So maybe she's a terrible person, but at the same time, she was the one that created Mary Poppins. So maybe honor her wish. I wish that and I'm honestly kind of happy that this didn't do well in the box office because it's really not that good. I do wish that I liked it because I love Saving Mr. Banks, and I love the original Mary Poppins. I mean the one that I remember. I don't remember. I mean I don't know if I watch it now whether I'll like it just as much. But this this was so boring. Like there was nothing to it. I know Mary Poppins was hardly in the old Mary Poppins film, and it was more about the chimney sweeper guy. I forgot his name.
Bert, yeah.
Bert, yeah. But this, I okay. You know what? While watching this film, all I could think of was, wow, I really like Paddington too because the voice of Paddington is in this,
And Julie Walters is in this as
and
well.
Julie
Yeah.
Walters is in this too. Yeah, I just wish I liked it more than I did, but I did cry when the instrumental version of Feed the Birds came on because that's one of my favorite Disney songs. So if it's worth anything, congrats Mary Poppins Returns. You made me cry sort of by nostalgia.
Right. I cried during Where the Lost Things Go, and I think I kind of got chills when she steps into the house and the instrumental for Spoonful of Sugar like fires up. I totally hear you, and I think that a lot of people feel the same way that you do. I think I was like I wanted to take it on its own terms, but at the same time I understand that yeah, it kind of looks bad that it it is a cash grab that there was a possibility it would transcend being a cash grab and it didn't really, so it's a bit awkward that now it's there. But I love Lin Manuel Miranda in this. When they first
Mhm.
cast him, I was like, I don't know if he's going to be a fit for Emily Blunt and a fit for this movie, but he was really, really good. He
Yeah.
he put like everything into it, and like seeing him happy, like he's just such a pure man. So seeing Lin Manuel Miranda happy is very good for everybody. Like everyone should just stare at his happy face for a long time. I think that would
I
do the
just
world a world of good.
I would like to interrupt you for a second there because I went to Disneyland in yeah, last year, and apparently the day after I went to Disneyland, Lin Manuel Miranda was in Disneyland, so I missed him by a day. Yeah,
No, yeah,
but it's okay because I didn't watch Hamilton, so I'm not that sad.
yeah. I didn't watch Hamilton either. Like it took me very, very long to come around on Hamilton. I still don't love it to the extent that a lot of my friends love it, but it took me a long time to kind of appreciate it for what it was because it's very
Mhm.
different from the musicals that I grew up loving. But I mean, it is a work of genius. Like Lin Manuel Miranda is a genius. I just didn't connect to it immediately the way that a lot of my friends did. A lot of my friends like thought something
Yeah.
was fundamentally wrong with me because I wasn't on the Hamilton train immediately. But yeah, it's I think like Hamilton is the one thing that history teachers all around the US are like thanking God every day for because it does get kids very involved and very interested in history. It kind of brings history to
Yeah.
life, and there should be a Hamilton for every part of history. There should be a Hamilton. There should be something that breathes life into history that way for every like little piece of history. So I'm glad that exists, and I'm glad he was in it. And yeah, it's a bit of a shame that it's not amazing, but I think that it did what it wanted to do a little bit better than the 2017 Beauty and the Beast did.
Mhm.
Yeah, and like to me, there was some of the same problems. Like you could tell they were trying to match like piece for piece. Like this corresponds, like Triple O Light Fantastic, corresponds to crap. What's the song? The Chimney Sweep song, the first one. Yeah, you know what I
I
mean.
don't I don't know which song you're talking about in the Returns
In
movie.
the Returns movie, it's the one where all the lamplighters are dancing around the
Oh, God, that was such a boring sequence. I'm so sorry.
yeah.
I was like, this is going on for way too long.
No, and the BMX, I like the BMX bikers. They're
Oh
like
yeah, the
that
BMX
was
part.
very
That was really
unironically
weird.
adorable. Yeah. And I mean, yeah, it's also weird whenever a Disney movie has a big bang as the villain, because it's like you do know you want this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was like they were trying to parallel the Great Depression with the current housing bubble crisis, and then in that moment it kind of felt like Christopher Robin because Christopher Robin is like so depressing because
Mhm.
it's like I know that growing up can be sad, but I don't need my Disney movies to tell me that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think like it sounds like I liked it
And
less than I liked it.
and it's also not because of that. It's because it is a depressing thought, but the solution is so childlike, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So they have very adult issues, but they gave us this really childish solution that you know as an adult doesn't
Doesn't
work.
work.
And you know that World War II is around the corner as well.
That's
So they're
very
not gonna
true.
be
Yeah,
happy for a very long
yeah.
time. And they're in central London too, so you know that they're
The
probably gonna
Blitz
end
is
up
gonna
dead.
take the house out. Yeah,
Yeah.
that old man, like the captain. There's the last thing
Mhm.
he sees is like a falling bomb from a Messerschmitt. I brought it way down. The Messerschmitts drop bombs. I need all my aviation and military history enthusiasts to correct me on this. Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
So okay,
Yeah. So
Bumblebee, which is very good because this is a girl and his ex movie, and we're talking about a boy and his ex movie for the
and
body of the show.
as you know, I love my girl and ex movies, so I was really looking forward to Bumblebee because it'll be my first Transformers film in a long time because I
Yes,
refuse to watch the other ones.
yes, as you
And
rightfully should.
mhm.
Trust
And
me, like I've seen all of them.
I really love this
It's so
film.
good. It's also good. It's good.
Yeah,
It's good. Made me happy.
it's amazing. Like, and I'm not a huge fan of Travis Knight too because I think Kubo is an okay film that has beautiful visuals.
He is a bit of an asshole in interviews and things. Yeah.
I don't want to say anything in case I have to work with
For
him in
for
the
like a
future.
yeah.
but
Whoops.
but I really love
It's
Bumblebee.
so
I think
good.
it is full of heart, and Bumblebee is up there with Paddington as one of the cutest characters that I've seen in 2018.
Yeah.
He is so sweet and so childlike, and even like in the beginning he had a voice and I really loved his
Dylan
voice in that.
O'Brien from
Dylan
Malaysia,
O'Brien,
perfect choice
he
for
did
yeah.
a great job, and the beginning scene was amazing
Yeah, the
when they were
Cybertron
fighting.
opening, like, oh my god, that blew everyone's socks off. That's how you start a
Yeah.
movie. That's how you set things up. Yeah, it's so good.
And I don't know I don't know anything about Transformers. So as a non-Transformers fan, I really enjoyed this film.
Yeah.
Like this opened my eyes to, oh, so this is why people like Transformers, I guess, because it can be good.
Yeah,
It's not
it's
just about bang bang shush shush and then a lot of gratuitous butt shots, which apparently isn't a thing in the original animated
no,
series.
not at all. Yeah, it is very interesting. Like, okay, I do not like the Transformers movies, but I love talking about them because to me, it's really interesting that to see how like poorly they're handled. And this is one of those movies like when you watch Bumblebee, like it could have been this all along, and Spielberg probably wanted it to be this all along. So that's one of the things which I'm the saddest about Spielberg's name being attached to, because every new Michael Bay Transformers movie has executive produced by Steven Spielberg in the trailer, and then a bit of me dies,
Okay.
inside. And it's very sad because if you look at Michael Bay, he is someone who hates the Transformers source material and he hates the fans. So like it shows the contempt for it shows like he doesn't want to embrace the parts of the mythology that people love, and then he just gets into fights with fans because he changes things to annoy fans and he messes with things on purpose to annoy fans. And it
Yeah.
just it's tough because like then Transformers fans feel like, oh, but I'm obligated to support this because it's a thing that I like, but the guy in charge actively hates you and hates the thing you love. So this was like, I think what really helped is the scale. Like this scales it
Mhm.
all the way back. It's set mostly in that one Northern Californian town, and it's about a girl and her car, just like the first Transformers movie, the 2007 one, was supposed to be about a boy and her car. And Haley
His
Steinfeld is
car.
much more lovable than Shia LaBeouf is.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah.
She is an amazing actress,
I'm
and I
so
love
happy
her
to
so
see her in
much.
the thing again. Yeah, I'm so happy to see
Yeah.
her in like a franchise movie again as well, because I feel like part of why she didn't become huge right after her Oscar nomination in True Grit is that she missed out on Hunger Games. She
Mhm.
was like, I think, a finalist for Katniss, but she lost it to Jennifer Lawrence.
I'm glad she lost it though.
Yeah,
Just
that's
saying.
true. Like,
Because she had a lot of opportunities after that. Not as big as Hunger Games, but she
yeah,
had other opportunities to work on her craft.
and I don't really like her music. I don't like her as a singer,
Oh, I
and
agree.
yeah, and also after she was like part of the Taylor Swift squad, I was a little bit disappointed in that. But I have had a humongous crush on Haley Steinfeld ever since True Grit. Like, it was all the interviews that she did around True Grit. It was like, oh, this is great. Like, I really like her, and she really reminded me of why I liked her in the first place in this movie, because the character that she played could easily be very annoying. Like if
Mhm.
I think the and it's a very standard kind of like teen protagonist where
Yeah.
there's some sort of tragedy in their past, and then that's why they're shut off from the rest of the world. But there's a special friend whom they meet who like reignites their passion for life and who makes them care again, that kind of thing.
I
Yeah.
agree.
I
Yeah,
feel sorry, go ahead.
I I was really amazed by how she did things that would normally annoy me. Like she's really mean to her her stepfather or the guy
The
that her
stepdad,
mom is
yeah.
dating. Yeah, and like she's not very nice to her parents in general, and she doesn't, she's that kind of, oh, just leave me alone. I don't want
Yeah,
to
like
run away
the
from my
emo
past. But
withdrawn teen, yeah.
yeah, but she manages to give us this sympathy, like this sympathetic character who can't get over her dad.
Yeah, can't
And
get over like the
it's
death of
not
her dad. Yeah.
yeah, and it's not really annoying, it's just sad that she couldn't move on. And you are rooting for her to just feel better because she is going through depression. Like
Yeah.
no doubt about it. So it's I and well, one of my complaints is there's this other guy who's I'm supposed to be her love
Oh yeah,
interest, I
Jorge
guess. I'm not
Levenborg
sure.
Jr. Yeah, he was
I
in Love Simon.
I don't know what he's doing there. Like he doesn't help her in the end, and he doesn't heal her in the end because it was Bumblebee that did that. So I don't know what he's doing in this film.
I liked him, but at the same
I liked
time,
him too.
like he's way too hot to be the geek, to be like the weird awkward geek, because
Well,
he was
I
outwardly playing
disagree.
that, but he's ripped. He has like a six pack and everything.
I didn't get that when I saw him. I'm like, okay, he's the weirdo, yeah, of the group,
Because
but
like he
okay.
takes his shirt off and it's like clearly he has been working out.
But yeah, I like, the way she treats him also sometimes I feel was a little bit mean,
Yeah, yeah.
but I don't know why at the end of the day I still really like her
But
as a
it's
character. And
her,
I
it's
think
Haley
it's
Steinfeld.
because of
Yeah,
her. Yeah,
yeah.
I think it's the way she portrays the character because really when you look at the the what's it the script,
Yeah, like on
the
paper,
screenplay,
yeah.
on paper she sounds horrible. She sounds like a horrible kid who just needs to grow up, but you feel sad for her when you watch it and you see her growing
Yeah, and you see like how
and
her bond with Bumblebee
opening
like
up, yeah,
affects, yeah,
because of Bumblebee.
that's right,
I'm
yeah.
so sorry. Like it's really late and I'm really emotional right
It's
now.
okay.
Yeah, so it's great. Like I love this
Yeah,
film.
the bit when she touches his cheek, is so great,
Mhm.
yeah.
And the climax when the Transformers were fighting each other, I don't know what they're called. The Autobots and Decepticons are
Right,
fighting each
yeah, they're
other.
fighting Dropkick and
I
Shatter.
was I was so amazed that I could see what was going on.
Yes,
Like
yeah.
I could tell who was where, and the staging was good,
Yeah,
and
it's so
I
it's so refreshing to be able to tell what's going on in a Transformers action scene.
yeah, I loved it so
Yeah, that
much.
comes
I
straight from
really
Travis Knight's like animation background. Yeah, the lady evil robot, like the female Decepticon, Angela Bassett, amazing performance.
mhm.
You can picture her like sneering into the microphone. Okay,
She
there are little bits where the humor is a little bit like a Michael Bay toned humor, but it's a lot more tolerable in this context. Like I think the scientist character, the John Ortiz character, was very much like a Michael Bay scientist character. Um,
but at least he was
he was
nice.
nice, yeah. John Cena, I thought like was not bad, but clearly his true calling is comedy.
Yeah,
Like John Cena just like go and
he's
be a full
funny.
time comedian. Yeah, he has very good
Yeah.
timing. So the parts where he's supposed to be like kind of tough and evil and not evil but mean and badass. Like the small moments when he goes like, doesn't it set off any red flags that they're called Decepticons? That's funny. Like he plays that very well. Yeah, so this movie is very selective about the continuity. Like it rejects the vast amount of the continuity from the Transformers movies. According to the most recent one, they have been here like since the time of the dinosaurs. They teamed up with King Arthur. Bumblebee fought in World War II. So obviously all of that is completely out of the window in this
Mhm.
one, but they're keeping some elements like there's a character who is the younger version of the John Turturro character Simmons from the main line of movies. So I kind of like
Don't know
that.
what you're talking about.
Yeah, there's a guy who is following around John Cena. There's a young guy. So the older
Uh huh.
version of him is in the rest of the movies.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so there was like there's that one piece of continuity, and John Cena's organization Section 7 is a big part of the movies. Like Josh Duhamel later joins that organization. So I like that they had the freedom to chuck away a lot of the nonsense stuff that the Michael Bay movies had and keep what they wanted to and kind of retcon as much as they could because Lord knows they needed it. Like this is
Yeah.
so good. This is where we should have been all along. Please, more of this.
And the good news is, even though Bumblebee didn't do that well in the box office, not as good as the other Transformers films, they just announced that they're going to make a sequel. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, it
And I hope it's
extended
more of this.
the yeah. I hope it's more of this, and also they extended the cinema run in China by 1 month. So
Cool.
that's a good sign. Yeah.
And I remember what I wanted to say, which
Yes,
is even though a lot of people say that this plot is very simplistic, I think it is simplistic, but it's well told. And a well told, simple plot is so much better than an overcomplicated plot that doesn't know what it wants to say.
I agree with you 100%. And you are completely correct because the last movie involved King Arthur, Nazis, Sir Anthony Hopkins,
Okay.
Stonehenge, the Earth is
Okay.
Unicron? Question mark. And oh, and a robot goddess Gemma Chan. Let's never forget that Gemma Chan is like straight up a robot goddess. It is so strange. So I love this. More of this, please. So it annoys me when people are like, "Why is this movie so childish?" And like, this is actually a lot less childish than the Michael Bay movies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. Alright, so speaking of boy and his ex or girl and his ex story,
Yay.
let's go on to our main review.
Ah.
How to Train Your Dragon 3, or how, as they would say it, How to Train Your Dragon Hidden World, which I hate that subtitle, but okay. Just call it 3, to be honest. But yeah, How to Train Your Dragon Hidden World. What is that about, Chad?
So this is the third and final installment in the How to Train Your Dragon trilogy. So we pick up a year after the events of How to Train Your Dragon 2. So Hiccup, Astrid, and friends, they have been working very hard at rescuing dragons and bringing them back to Berk. So together with all of their dragons, including Toothless and Stormfly, now Berk is this utopia where humans and dragons live in harmony. But Berk is getting kind of overcrowded, and Gobber, voiced by Craig Ferguson, is putting pressure on Hiccup and Astrid to, properly get married, properly take their positions as chief and chiefess of Berk. So along comes Grimmel, voiced by F. Murray Abraham, who has killed every Night Fury, and Toothless is on his hit list. It turns out that Toothless is not the last Night Fury around, and he comes across what is dubbed a Light Fury, a lady Fury dragon, and he is completely
Okay.
obsessed. Yeah, he cannot think of anything other than this girl dragon. So now he embarks on a mission to try and court her, while Hiccup charts a course for the fabled Hidden World, which is a story that his dad, Stoic Gerard Butler, told him about when he was very young. That there's this secret paradise at the edge of the world where dragons live peacefully out of sight of humans. So
Yeah.
that's what How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World is about.
So before we go on to that, like what did the How to Train You? I'm not sure whether we discussed this before. I'm sure we did because I love this series so much. But what does the How to Train Your Dragon franchise mean to you, Jet?
Yeah, I remember seeing the first one in theaters in 2010, and I really, really loved it. I think like I I've not watched the spin-offs, the TV series or the TV specials, so I'm just going off of the movies. So yeah, these are really, really well done movies. I liked the first one a lot. The second one I thought was okay. The second one I didn't love because I felt like it undid a little bit of the first one, but I have been waiting for this for a while. Like we've all been waiting 5 years since the last one came out. And it's kind of crazy to think that the first one came out 9 years ago. So
Mhm.
I really wanted to see how they would end it, and I think this is so beautiful as a conclusion to the trilogy. This is one of the most satisfying prequels that I've seen in a really long time. And I brought my brother along. He also deeply loves this series. He loves Toothless. I think he identifies with Toothless a little bit. So we
What does
watched,
that mean?
yeah, like as in like I think Toothless, the his nature of being kind of cute and lovable, but he can also turn violent and turn fierce. I think like my brother was like that as a kid.
Okay.
Yeah, like we'd fight a lot, and he was very much like that. But if you look at him in photos, like he looked very cute. He looked kind of harmless, so you
Mhm.
wouldn't know that he has a propensity towards violence. But there's video footage of him stepping on me, and
Okay.
my mom yelling off camera, "Jet, get up and run!" So yes, so my brother is basically Toothless. So yeah, so
Okay.
he really really enjoyed this third movie as well, and like we were both crying by the end.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure, you weren't the only
I've told
ones.
everyone too much about my brother.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, and to me, obviously, you know how much I love the How to Train Your Dragon series. It's the reason why I became an animator and why I got interested in films. It is the first time I ever listened to a DVD commentary and learned about lighting and animation and
Yeah, and
texturing
rigging.
and rigging and like I How to Train Your Dragon was my basis for movies, and
Wow,
that was
yeah.
when I started. Yeah, that How to Train Your Dragon is the first time I ever bought an art book. It was the first
Yeah.
time I listened to a director's commentary. It was the first time I picked up a book because they recommended that book in the commentary, and that was where I learned storytelling, which I'm not sure whether it's a good thing or not because it didn't win Best Animated Feature that
No,
year.
no. Yeah, it was fighting
Um,
with Toy Story 3 that year, which I know you don't
yeah,
love.
yeah.
Mostly because
Uh,
of this, right? I've never put two and two together, but is it because it stole Best Animated Feature from?
No, it's because it's the same film as the one and two, except the ending is different. But okay,
Okay,
anyway,
yeah, yeah.
no one listens to Woody. Okay, fine, whatever. So, what was I about to say? Oh yeah, so uh, How to Train Your Dragon is the reason why I love
Yeah.
films. And it's the reason why I want to go into films. And I'm still not in films after 9 years, but
No,
that's
you were
okay.
briefly in films and you're now in video
Briefly.
games.
But yeah, and sorry, I think I just hit the mic.
No,
And
you are generally a lot more successful than I am, so that's
uh
a fact.
And then I watched How to Train Your Dragon 2, and I thought that that was a really great follow up. I thought it was a lot darker, a lot, um, yeah,
Yeah,
darker. That's the only way I
it
can
was
say it.
Empire. It
And
wanted to
it
be
was
Empire. Yeah,
more serious, but I didn't like it as much. Oh yes, by the way, How to Train Your Dragon had the best soundtrack
yeah.
in
John
any
Powell
animated
has
film
never
ever.
been better. Like,
And I
yeah,
was so happy that it got nominated for best original
score.
soundtrack in
Yeah,
the Oscars. Yeah, so that was really
I
cool.
forgot who it
Um
lost to that year. Was it Inception? I don't know. I don't
no,
remember. King's Speech.
no, it wasn't King's
No.
Speech. It was the Facebook movie.
Oh, Social Network. That's right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
To Trent Reznor and
And
I
I'm
forget.
still not over that.
Oh,
There
okay.
was if
Yeah.
there was any film that I hated because it lost to
It's a
How to
Social
Train Your
Network,
Dragon
right?
lost to,
Yeah.
it's The Social Network for the soundtrack, not the movie.
I understand. Yeah.
Um but I thought that the second movie was wonderful. Like I thought it was really good. It did hit me emotionally, but it wasn't as inspiring. But how can it be more inspiring than How to Train Your Dragon?
Yeah, that's a hard, like, tough act to live up to.
Yeah, and so comes this film. I'll be honest, like I'm still kind of I just came out of it. Like I just watched it 6 hours ago.
Yeah, that's why I wanted
So
to like record immediately to get like your
yeah.
immediate reaction to it.
Um I don't know where I would rank it, whether I like it more than the second or third whether I like the second or third one more. It's definitely not as good as the first.
Yeah.
But I thought this was really rushed for some reason. Like it felt like it kept on going and there was no time to take a break.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
there's one thing that I did really like about this film that they brought back from the first film, which is there's a lot of moments where it's just the music and the characters, no dialogue.
Yes.
And
Yes. Yeah.
I was quite sad that they didn't bring that back in the second movie, but like I understood why, because it was not really about the dragons in the second film.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was more about Hiccup and his family and him learning that some people cannot be bargained with, or some people cannot be talked to.
Yeah. It
Like no
was
one,
like
not everyone is his dad.
the Drago. Yeah, the direct connection that Drago had with his dad.
Yeah, but this is all about, you know, the Light Fury and Toothless and them bonding.
Yeah,
So there were a lot of quiet moments between them and Hiccup just observing in the
I
back.
like that a
So
lot. Yeah, that made me
I really
happy.
liked that, and it was really cute and really funny.
Yeah,
But
they
overall I
didn't give her
think
a name though. Like,
no, they
yeah,
didn't give her a name. It's fine. Light Fury. What would you name
toothpaste.
her? Toothpaste. Oh yeah.
That was the fandom name that's going on for a while.
Oh, I heard another more offensive name, but I don't want to say it.
Do you want to whisper it?
I think it was like Nub or something. I don't know,
Okay,
but okay, no,
yeah.
forget me. Um, yeah, but I think I'm not sure whether pacing is an issue because I thought everything was rushed or whether it was just really entertaining.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, I think Hiccup is. I know it's absurd to say this because I've not seen all the films that's made in this world, but I think Hiccup is one of the best movie characters ever made. Like just his progression from this outsider to Viking
Yeah,
chief.
that's very
It is
fair to say. Yeah.
it is such an like I feel so honored to see him grow this way, to see him be this guy who everyone hates, and then him learning confidence. And you know, like in the first film, I'm gonna talk about the first film a lot because whatever. But so sorry, this is the third time we're doing this. I cut out
Breathe,
the others.
breathe, Jerry.
Okay, so Toothless got shipped off to look for the dragon nest in the first film, and then Hiccup was on the hill, and Astrid asked him, told him like, yeah, the rest of us would have killed Toothless, so why didn't you? So Hiccup says, I don't know, I couldn't. And Astrid says, that's not an answer. And Hiccup says, why is that so important all of a sudden? And Astrid says, I want to remember what you say right now. And he says, I was a coward, I was weak, I wouldn't kill a dragon. Astrid says, you said wouldn't this time. Hiccup says, whatever, I wouldn't. 300 years and I'm the first Viking who wouldn't kill a dragon. And Astrid answers, first to write one though. So like, you know, to see him not realizing who he actually is, which is this super courageous guy
Yeah.
who knows kindness, who knows compassion, and people saw that as a weakness. And he saw that as a weakness throughout the entire first film until right to the very end. Like I love that so much about that, and he took that into his stride in the second and third film. Even though, to be honest, I think he killed quite a few people, but yeah. So I love seeing Hiccup's progression as a character who who honestly I think hated who he was, to being more confident, and then just learning to grow, learning to correct his mistakes, and just be a better person. And to see him, at the end of the film, be the person that he was, it just felt like such an honor to be able to go on this journey with this character right from the beginning. And I'm just so grateful to have experienced that. Like if you think about it, it's like this is my Harry Potter after Harry Potter was over, even though this was 3 films instead of 7, but it was like the same amount of time, I think, because Harry Potter came out when I was 6,
Yeah, 2001
and
to 2011. So this one is
2011.
yeah. So this one is
Yeah,
2010 to 2019. Yeah,
2019. So it feels the same, because it just feels so weird to me that there's no How to Train Your Dragon film to look forward to anymore.
that's yeah,
Or
yeah.
yeah,
I've
and
not realized that yet. That's true. Yeah, and I'm kind of happy that this is where they're leading it. We'll get into that later, but I don't
yeah,
want them to do anymore.
I'm I honestly I don't know why I went on this tangent, but
No,
I
no, it's
I
good.
really
Yeah,
I love this franchise, and I don't know whether the plot the plot points make sense yet in this film, but I'm just so emotional right now, so I can't really think rationally whether the whether the story makes sense and whether character motivations make sense, because I have a feeling some of them don't, some of them felt kind of off to me, but I can't tell. I'm gonna watch it again,
yeah.
so maybe then that's when I can judge it better. But as of now, I really like this film. I found it very entertaining, and I think it's a wonderful send off to Hiccup and Toothless, who share one of the greatest, unfortunately, I think underrated film friendships of all time in cinema.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and I really like your breakdown of Hiccup's arc, and I think that there are a lot of parallels there to Captain America. I think that there's a similar kind of growth process, and the way that they are not obvious leaders at first, but they eventually grow into their positions as leaders. And it is Toothless's relationship with Hiccup that brings out the qualities in him that make him a leader. And I feel like there's such a beautiful comment that the movie makes on masculinity, on what we see as admirable in a man, in a leader, and how he struggles to live up to the example set by his father because he is not his father. But that's not a bad thing.
Mhm.
And you kind of see like the identity crisis that he has in the beginning, where he feels like he doesn't possess the qualities that a Viking should possess. And I feel like there are many kids, especially boys, who have that moment when they're growing up. They're like, I'm not as much of a guy as I want to be. I'm not as much of a guy as my dad. I'm not so much a guy as my friends. Like, how do I prove my worth as a man? And I think like to have an example in a character like Hiccup is a very important thing. Like muscles and being tough and having a deep voice is not everything that matters.
Yeah.
And I really really like that this character kind of models that. And
and
yeah,
and also it's like you see him cry,
yeah, that's very
which
important.
is
Yeah.
which is so awesome, because how many animated male characters you see cry, like as in not anime of course, but in
I like that you
they
clarified
cry all
that.
the time in anime,
Yes,
but
yes.
in western films,
Yeah,
in western animated films, how many grown up men
man,
do you
yeah.
see cry? And like even okay, wait, we can't say that it's a spoiler. Never mind. I need to put this down so I don't forget. But what are some of the okay? So basically, watch this film. But like, what are some of the flaws that you found? Because you watched it a day after before me, so you have thought
I've
about
thought
it
about
for
it a
a
little bit
day.
more. Okay, so
Yeah.
I think what threw me off from the beginning is there's no title. There are no opening credits. So
There's never been an opening credits
there
for the
haven't
past
been,
two
is it?
films.
I didn't
Yeah.
know that. Okay. So yeah, I was expecting a title. I think that's my fault for not remembering that this series does not have opening credits. But yeah, I think I get where you're coming from in terms of the pacing. I thought it was paced okay. I really did like the emphasis on the relationship between Toothless and the Light Fury. I guess I agree with some of the reviews that say there's a bit too much time spent on the comic relief characters. So that was, it's not a flaw. Like especially all the Kristen Wiig stuff was very funny. And the guy they chose to replace T.J. Miller sounds exactly like T.J. Miller, so that's good. But yeah, that all whenever they popped up and it focused on them, it was like a distraction away from Toothless and from Hiccup. They also did not know what to do with Kate Blanchett, with the mom. Yeah, the mom was in this movie, but they didn't do anything with her.
Yeah.
So, and the mom was such an important part of the second movie as well. And I love Kate Blanchett's performance in that. Like that was her first time voicing an animated character, but she completely nailed it. Like she had that earthiness as well as the ethereal quality of this dragon woman who has been lost for decades, presumed dead. So they took that character, and she was in this one because she had to be. So I understand why they didn't focus on her because they needed to focus on Toothless and the Light Fury, but it was just like a little bit disappointing that they couldn't figure
Mhm.
out what to do with the mom.
Well, like I'm the opposite of you because I really love the comedic relief in this film. Like I like that how each of them had their own thing going on for them. So, Snot Loud, hang on, Snot Loud is
Christopher
the
Mintz
short one, right?
Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's not the one I'm thinking of.
No.
Who's the one I'm thinking of? No, that's Fish Legs. Fish Legs is Christopher Mintz Plus.
Yeah, Snot Loud is Jonah Hill,
Snot
right?
Loud is Jonah Hill.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah.
So like he's too busy flirting with Hiccup's mom, and he has this weird rivalry going on with Arrett, son of Arrett.
Kit Harington.
Kristen Wiig, yeah, Kit Harington, and then Kristen Wiig is too busy being annoying.
Yeah.
Um, and the T.J. Miller replacement, he thinks that he can give Hiccup marriage advice,
Oh, yeah,
which
yeah.
I thought was really funny. Like I really enjoy their the because you never really see them in the films.
That's right,
They're
yeah.
just background characters. So I really like that each of them had their own thing and they tried to be a team. By the way, I don't know why the adults in this film aren't doing anything at all. It's always up to the kids to solve their problems. But um I really love the comedic relief stuff. Like and Astrid, of course. I never really liked her to be honest, but
Is that
I thought
because
she
you
was
wanted Hiccup for yourself?
no, I didn't.
Your denial was a
I did
little bit too fast.
no because oh come on, because in the first film they just like she just started liking
Yeah, they
him.
hate each other and then she likes him.
Well, he didn't hate
No, no,
her.
she hates him.
She
Yeah,
hated him.
that's
But
right.
all of a sudden they got together. I'm like, okay, this is really
Yeah,
bad
she thinks he's
character
lame.
development.
She thinks he's lame. Yeah.
Yeah, and in the second one it was like, okay, I guess they're flirting now.
Yeah.
But in this one I really liked her. You're right, maybe it's because I didn't want Hiccup for myself. And like I finally got a boyfriend, so now I don't need him. But
Hi, boyfriend.
I I I I really liked her in this film. I thought that the awkwardness of getting married or the pressure to get married was quite cute, and they are meant for each other, I guess.
Yeah.
A lot of awkward moments with them, but yeah, but
So
I really like Tough Nut. Tough Nut's the guy, right? Yeah, I really like Tough
I
Nut in this
always
film.
get
He
it
made
mixed
me
up.
laugh.
Yeah. So okay. Another thing about the comic relief characters that I was trying to figure out why I didn't like totally love all the stuff with them, even though I thought a lot of it was funny. And I think part of it is that they are still very much kids, and Astrid and Hiccup are adults. Like by this point, the whole thing is a coming of age story, and this is the movie where they officially become adults. So it felt like
Mhm.
they were all being left behind. Their peers who are the same age as them are all like developmentally much slower than they are. That is a tough word to say.
Yeah.
So it's like they're all left behind being the idiots they were from the first film, while Hiccup is like dealing with maturity and like real leadership decisions in this one.
Mhm.
So yeah, I guess
But
that's
I
the
mean,
nature of it. Yeah.
at the end of the day, I felt like they did step up, so I was okay with it.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I may be biased. I am biased, so I don't know.
It's
I
okay.
just
Yeah.
really I just really like that they had something to do in this film.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I don't follow the TV series, and I'm sure they have character development in the TV series. So this was the first time I saw they didn't really have character development in this, but at least they were
There's stuff to do.
they
Yeah.
they didn't feel like background characters in this.
Yeah. Okay,
What else?
another flaw.
Villain?
Yeah. I mean, the point that I made when the trailer came out is really how many types of villains can you have? They are all going to be dragon hunters eventually. Like you cannot
Mhm.
have a villainous CEO like a Lex Luthor be the villain of your dragon Viking movie. So right, okay, I think F. Murray Abraham had a very fun time doing it. Like you can hear a little bit of Salieri from Amadeus when he kind of goes off and has fun and chews the scenery a little bit. But at the same time, he is like the most charitable way to describe him is he's a middling like MCU villain. They serve the purpose in the story, but they're obviously not the focus of the story. So you are okay with them being not amazing villains because you're spending more time with the heroes, but at the same time you're like, yeah, it's just a little bit weak. So like the villain is to me not one of the stronger parts of the film, but he never was intended to be one of the stronger parts of the film. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. And I really thought like this film didn't need a villain, like Coco didn't need a villain.
Yeah, the
Um,
first Dragons movie didn't have a villain.
it kind of did.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Uh, the villain of this film should have been overcrowding, I guess. Right? Like that was like
like the villain of Your Name is Time. I remember we kept on doing that.
yeah.
Like you say your favorite
I
villain of 2016 is Time.
time. Exactly. It's that damn asteroid. Yeah. It I thought like didn't need a villain in this. And you could have just focused so much more on how dragons and humans sometimes really cannot coexist together. And I think if you think about the ending and you think about dragon hunters, it gets a little bit dark, and we'll discuss more about that in the spoilers.
Yeah,
But
we will. Yeah.
I he's serviceable. That's all.
Yeah.
But I was so excited because his first introduction, his the first time you see him with Hiccup, he is scary. It's like, what the hell did this guy come from?
Yeah. F. Murray Abraham is scary. Like he's capable of being very scary.
I was hoping for much more from him,
Yeah,
but
me too.
whatever.
Yeah, it's
You
fine.
know,
Yeah, it's not his
yeah, it's
movie.
fine.
So yeah.
Uh, yeah. So the score was really good. I daren't listen to the score because I don't want to cry. So yeah, I've just been listening to the first How to Train Your Dragon soundtrack since I got back,
Yeah.
and great soundtrack.
What's the track called? Is it Test Drive or Test Flight?
Test
Test
drive.
Drive. Test Drive is a great track. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and I really like that they had a reference to Gift of the Night Fury.
The Christmas special.
I Yeah, it's sort of like a Christmas special. It came with the Blu-ray or the DVD for the first How to Train Your Dragon film, so that was kind of cool to have that weird continuity there. And I did like that that sort of explained why Hiccup never gave Toothless his own set of tail wings. Uh, and yeah, very very touching ending. I'm glad the ending was touching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Not
it
sad.
ended exactly the way
It should
yeah,
have.
it should have ended. Like I was thinking, where is this going? Where is this going? Where is this going? And then when it sort of like fitted into place, it's like okay, if it hits here, then that's good, and then it hit
Yeah.
it there. So yeah, it makes you cry. It makes you cry, but at the same time, it wasn't like I think the term I used when I spoke to you earlier is it wasn't unnecessarily cruel. Like there are
Yeah.
many ways the ending could have been unnecessarily like knife twistingly cruel, but I'm glad that Dean Dubois decided not to do that.
I just wish I met him because I went to DreamWorks and I didn't meet him. I'm so upset. But yeah.
No, it's okay. Yeah.
So please watch this film.
Yep.
I hope I get to watch it in IMAX
It's
again.
not being released in 3D here, right? Is it?
I'm so happy, and it's fine. Oh, by the way, I found it really weird how there was barely any flight scenes in this film.
Oh,
Like, there's
there
no
was one
Hiccup.
that I really liked. Yeah.
There was no like Hiccup riding on Toothless's back, and then there's a lot of really awesome action flight
It's
shots like they had
not
in the
action
first and second film.
oriented. Yeah, this one
It's not.
doesn't have that many action, and I kind of like that they switched the mode to make it much more of a romantic comedy.
Yeah,
Kinda, yeah.
yeah. It's a great friendship film. Yeah, and if you love the How to Train Your Dragon series, just bring tissues.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
I
does will not let you down if you love the series.
yeah. All right, so let's go on to
Yep,
spoilers.
spoilers for How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World.
Oh God, such a horrible subtitle. Little Hiccup is the cutest thing I've ever
Yeah,
seen.
Baby Hiccup. Yeah,
He's so adorable, and I love him. And you were talking about toxic masculinity or whatever.
yeah,
I can't say that word. Um, it's really cool to see Stoic cry too.
yes, 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 yes.
I thought that that was such a powerful moment,
After the
and
mom
that
died, right? Yeah,
yeah, after he thought that the mom died, and you never really saw that tender moment both of them had together in the first and second film. So I'm really glad that they retrospectively put that in.
yeah. That they saved, they kind of like saved that, and that even after Stoic died, they continued to give him character development.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and oh, I didn't even think of that. That's so
is that
awesome.
cool? Yeah, good
Yeah, it
storytelling,
is
very good
cool.
storytelling.
Sorry, like we're in spoilers section now, so like I'm so emotional.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Yeah, let feel the feelings because that's what movies are supposed to do. Movies are supposed to make you feel feelings.
Okay, so let's well. There's so many things to talk about in spoilers. So do you want to talk about the ending? Do you want to talk about the Light Fury date? Do you want to talk about I don't know.
Okay,
There's
let's
so many
let's
things.
do the Light Fury date first. Yeah, because
Okay.
like that is kind of the signature sequence of this movie is the flight between Toothless and the Light Fury.
Okay. Honestly, I thought like the highlight of their date was the first time he tried to court her. I thought that was really cute.
Yeah, the bit where he climbs up the tree and then they zoom out as he is stuck on the branch of the tree, looking up, going like, "No."
No, no, not that
Not that
one. The
one?
one
No.
where he's like bouncing around and he draws on the
Oh
sand.
no no yeah.
Oh,
So
and
that's the when he tries to do the mating dance.
yeah, and
Yeah.
Hiccup's like at the back going like, "Oh, I gotta help my buddy out."
Yeah, Hiccup is
That was
wingmanning
really
him.
cute. That was really really cute, and
It's
I
very cute,
love
yeah.
that. And I thought that was I don't know whether it was good or not that they had that callback to the first film where he was drawing on the sand.
I like that.
Ah,
Yeah. I
yeah.
the bit where he dances with his own shadow and licks his own shadow is hilarious
Yes.
and
That's so
yeah, that's
cute.
just sad. It's amazing. It's very that's very very funny because like Toothless completely stops functioning the moment he meets the Light Fury, and I thought that was great.
Yes.
Yeah,
And yeah, so that's all I have to say about that scene. It's really cute. It's really funny. I love that Hiccup was helping his buddy, and the flight scene with the Light Fury. I don't know why, but I've seen him glowing blue and then having thunder or sorry lightning shot at him, which I thought is kind of cool because it's a very Thor thing,
yeah.
and they are the Celtic culture, so it's really cool that they implemented that in
The
um
Norse culture.
sorry,
Yeah,
Norse myth. Sorry, I've been reading up on Celtic, so like Celtic is on my mind.
right. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
so
confused them before as well.
they're so similar,
Yes,
and it's
that's right.
Celtic music as well.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
because that's kind of the vibe they're going for with the violins.
hmm
Yeah,
yeah, so I don't know why I saw that before, but when that happened in the cinema, I was like, oh, that's so cool. He has a new power.
yeah, he could
So
turn
yeah, that
invisible.
was cool.
Like I don't know why I interpreted it as teleportation when I first saw it in the trailer, but actually it's not. It just turned invisible
Yeah,
because it looked like she was creating a portal to fly into.
yeah. You're like, that's how they get into the hidden world.
Yeah, they concentrate hard. No, it was really cute when he was trying to get the same power that she did and he couldn't. Like he was breathing fire
Yeah.
a few times and he was a bit disappointed in himself. So the flight between both of them was very very like, can you read my mind? Like I think they watched the "Can you read my mind" sequence from Superman 78 like a couple of times at least to get the feel of that because it felt very much like that.
Mhm.
It's good. It's really good. Like I was really really scared because when they first set up that Grimmer was going to bait Toothless with the Light Fury, I thought she was in on it and she was going to betray him.
Yeah.
And then I was so
I thought
concerned.
so too.
I didn't want her
Yeah.
to be part of the nefarious plot, so I'm very glad that
Yeah.
she was
Yeah. And I
not.
was like, why would she be working with him
Yeah, I was
anyway?
so nervous. It's like, no, I don't want him to find out and then be mad, and then someone has to die.
and then and then be like, oh, you lied to
Yeah,
me.
exactly. And second act
The
in
typical
misunderstanding.
animated stuff.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Like there's a
They had that in the first film, by the way.
between
It
sorry,
wasn't really a lie. It wasn't really a lie, but he didn't say anything
right.
between Stoke and Hiccup. Yeah.
Yeah, and in the second movie, like after Hiccup kills Stoic, of course.
You mean Toothless?
Toothless, sorry. I made it much worse.
There is a scene in How to Train Your Dragon, the first one, where I think, oh yeah, where Toothless was on top of Stoic, and he was about to blast him, and Hiccup's like,
Yeah,
no,
like
stop. I'm like,
foreshadowing.
oh
Yeah.
no.
The
Yeah.
second one, there's like, oh, that's another thing that I thought that I forgot to mention earlier is that we are always reminded of the sort of the trauma and the tragedy that has characterized Hiccup's life, but at the same time we are shown the support system that he has. Like he has
Mhm.
people around him who really, really care about him, and that kind of drives him forward. So I like the balance between that of like
And
him having like a functional support system.
yeah, he's awesome. Yeah, and his friends are awesome.
And his
I
mom's
like the
great. Yeah,
comedic
I love his
characters.
mom. I'm
Yeah,
so
I love his
happy
mom
his
too.
nothing horrible happened to Kate
I know, like
Blanchett.
when she went off on her own,
I was
I was
so
so
scared.
scared.
Yes, exactly. Because like we saw what happened to Gerard Butler.
Yeah. So what else is there to say about?
Just take
I
the
do like the
parents
Light
off one by
Fury,
one. Sorry?
and I did like that. At the end of the day, it was everyone saving everyone. So Toothless was going to save the Light Fury, and then
Yeah,
and
when
then
the Light
Toothless was
Fury
in danger.
when the Light Fury caught Hiccup, I went, whoa.
No, I okay. Hang on. Let me. So, Toothless was going to save the Light Fury. Then Hiccup saved the Light Fury, and then the Light Fury
Save
saved
Hiccup,
Hiccup.
that's right,
So
yeah.
I thought like after Hiccup saved Toothless. Hang on. Let me do this again. I thought it was really.
Draw the
I
diagram.
So it's really cool how Hiccup saved Toothless, and Toothless tried to save the Light Fury, but then Hiccup went to save the Light Fury, and the Light Fury went to save Toothless, and then the Light Fury saved Hiccup at the end.
Yay!
Yeah!
Yeah, you
My
figured it out.
first try.
First try. Yeah. That is a great sequence. Yeah, and I was so happy when the Light Fury did the thing where she looks upside down to check whether he's there, which is one of my favorite
Yeah.
moments of the first film. Is when Hiccup gets when Toothless catches Hiccup and Astrid and like checks underneath to see whether they're still alive. So that was, yeah, it was really, really good because I mean the predictable like kind of way that it goes is Hiccup becomes resentful of the Light Fury for stealing Toothless from him. So I'm very happy they didn't do that.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be Hiccup
Yeah, that's true.
if
That's
that
true.
happened too.
That's
So
true.
I'm
Yeah.
really glad that they know their characters.
Yeah, there was like a level of maturity that was handled with, and the feeling of we had a good run and good things had to come to an end, but it wasn't unnecessarily cruel. Like the way that
Yeah.
they parted, there was still an opportunity for them to see each other again.
Yeah. And um I did you like the sequence when Hiccup says, "Oh, save him," and she went to save the Light Fury went to save Toothless, and you saw I don't remember the villain's name,
Grimmel, yeah,
Grimmel, and Hiccup just plummeting to the ground. Like I thought that was surprisingly dramatic for some reason.
his
I
Disney
was like,
villain death.
yeah, yeah, and then he unbuckles
The
his
leg,
prosthetic leg.
yeah, yeah.
I was like, oh, dude. Ooh, I really love this series. I think it's so cool.
Yeah,
I love that scene. Like, you know that Hiccup's gonna survive, but I thought it was really cool how, even in death, he was trying to struggle to, like, get rid of him as long as his buddy is safe.
yeah.
Yeah.
I remember. So my friend had seen the first movie before I saw it, and he told me that there are certain stakes in this movie which are surprising for a children's animated film, and he was referring to Hiccup losing the leg.
Yeah.
And I like that, like we keep on going back to that, like we keep on going back
Hmm.
to that sacrifice, that that's a permanent reminder of the trauma that he sustained, and that how the lake becomes a key device in the final
Saving
showdown
him.
with Grimmel.
Yeah.
So that it's just very good storytelling, like a lot of the through lines that they draw through to the first one. And I mean everybody loves the very first encounter between Toothless and Hiccup when he boops the hand. And so I like that the booping the hand became such an important motif in this one as well.
Yeah.
So do you want to lead into the finale to like the epilogue?
Okay.
Yeah.
I can try.
Yes. We'll try. Yeah.
Okay.
This is where both of us cried, right?
So at the end, uh, I don't. It's kind of scary to think about it because they have a lot of dragons, but Hiccup says you guys have to go to the hidden wall because then you won't be hunted. And I guess it's hard to find because they took years to find the dragons again.
Right.
But it's really scary to think that that's it. That's their dragons. They can't fly beyond that, or they can't fly fast enough beyond that to save other dragons or dragons after a certain amount of region.
Yeah, that's true. So
So
like
any dragon that wasn't with them probably were hunted to extinction,
yeah,
or perhaps they found another hidden wall. I hope they did. But it's still scary to think that
the dragons in Australia are screwed.
yeah, the dragons from Australia, they're screwed because they're down under. Yeah, and I think a lot of people will have a problem with the ending as to why Hiccup would just let go of the dragons like that and wouldn't fight back, and I think it's because he can't. Because not everyone can be reasoned with.
No, yeah, there's
So
a season, the season is over.
yeah, and so he lets them go, and everyone lets the dragons
Yeah, when they
go. And
unbuckled all the saddles, like there was kind of a finality to that. Like when Astrid goes over and unbuckles Stormfly saddle, you're like, oh, this is it. That's
and
the
like
end. Yeah.
and Toothless goes to, I'm not sure that I can ever post this episode. And
It's
Toothless
okay.
goes
We'll have this
to
episode if you don't post it.
and Toothless goes to hug Hiccup, and it's like the most beautiful thing ever. And Hiccup starts crying or tearing up because his buddy is gonna be gone.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what the narration said, to be honest, because I wasn't paying attention. I was too busy crying.
Yeah.
And then okay, Hiccup and Astrid got married, and it's very beautiful. And then they brought their
Yeah,
kids,
the old
and
lady who officiates the wedding is great. Like the
yeah,
same old lady who kind of like anointed him chief.
yeah. And so they implied that it's been years because he had kids,
Yeah.
and they find Toothless, and then Toothless comes to the boat, and oh my god. so
And they have three
so
babies.
he yeah, there are three babies, and Hiccup introduces his kids to Toothless,
Yeah.
and his kids raise their
That's
hands,
when I
and like
cried. Yeah.
yeah, and then you hear the music, and it's from Forbidden Friendship, and they're like, oh yay, we're friends again. And then Hiccup takes his son, and then they went flying with Toothless, and like he throws his kid up in
Yeah.
the air and then catches him,
Oh
and
my
it's
gosh.
so sweet
Yeah.
and so cute, and like that's it, that's the end of the
That's
movie.
it.
And
Yeah, that's the end of the
and
series. Yeah.
it's really, and I guess okay, this was when I heard the narration when he said, uh oh, and I think the part that made me start crying was when he said, we never deserved you.
No, yeah, that's
And it's
true.
like, it's so sad because you do see the parallels in our world that sometimes we don't deserve the animals that go extinct, or are on brink of extinction,
Yeah.
because we are so cruel as human
The
beings.
dodo was too good for this world.
We never deserve the
No, we
dodo.
never deserved the dodo.
Yeah, so maybe they're in a hidden world, we don't know.
I now want the movie about a boy and his dodo friend. And the dodo is basically the personality of Hey Hey from Moana. Like, it's just like really dumb. I would love that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I like what I'm just so happy because
Yeah, this
I
was such a
thought
good ending. Yeah.
I thought he would never see Toothless ever again. Like, to lead up to this film, I've been listening to For Good from Wicked, and and that film has a line that goes,
That
it
song.
well may be that we may never meet again in this lifetime.
So
Yeah, so I was like,
let us say
this is it.
before we
This is
part.
how How to Train Your Dragon is gonna end, and it ended. at least we know he found Toothless at the end, and I think in the end he'll bring the Burkians there, and
Just like a little field trip, and they all
yeah,
reunite
just a
like
little field trip. They
briefly.
will all
Yeah,
reunite, but they hold the secret to the
to the hidden
dragons.
world. Yeah,
Yeah, to knowing that dragons too exist, and it's so satisfying because it's not because they know that they're
I
there,
love the
and you know
panda
that
baby too.
and you know that they'll be fine. Yeah, they just want to sell toys.
Yeah, the panda baby is amazing. No, I was joking before the movie. I was like, can you imagine if they have babies, but then they all look half like a donkey, and then donkey like slowly appears on the bottom of the screen, and then it just cuts to black.
Oh, that'll be the worst ending. Yeah, so I don't know. How about you, Jet? You can say this without crying because you had the honor of watching it a day before me. So
I
you won't
processed
cry
it a
anymore.
little bit more, yeah. So I was like, walking this movie is like, okay, I know that I will cry eventually. So I was wondering when I was gonna cry. So the movie was like on its way to wrapping up. And it's like, okay, I guess I'm good. I guess I'm not gonna cry. And then they had the epilogue of the babies. And
Yeah.
the moment when so it's so amazing because when Toothless jumps on the boat and then he's like growling and snarling. And then I told my brother, I said, watch, just watch. The pupils are gonna go square. And then the pupils go square. So that's when he's friendly. When he's angry, like his pupils are sort of like snake like. And then they expand out and they become like rectangular or square, and that's when he's friendly. So I've always loved that transition between fierce Toothless and cute Toothless. Like the first time we see that is their first meeting, is the first time like he learns how to smile and everything. So
Yeah.
seeing that like really brought it full circle because it was he came out of fierce Toothless mode into cute Toothless mode and at just the right time. Like there was just enough tension. I mean, you know that Toothless is not gonna eat Hiccup, but like in that moment when he's growling at Hiccup, you're like, oh no, 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 and then he like snaps back into being cute Toothless, and
Yeah,
yeah,
and
this time just
and
very well.
also and it's also like you even Toothless couldn't really recognize Hiccup.
Yeah. And yeah, through the whole movie, I was like, where is bearded Hiccup? Because the shot in the movie where bearded Hiccup is in front of Toothless, that doesn't happen, right? In the movie, the shot in the
No,
trailer.
I think it does happen, but Toothless was there as a red herring. I
Ah,
don't think
okay.
he was in the shot.
Right, right. So they,
That was always my theory,
yeah, that's the
because they did
epilogue
that
of the
for
movie.
Rise of the Guardians as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they didn't have Jack Frost in the scenes that he was
Ah, I
in
see.
the
Yeah,
trailer.
that's right. And I think Infinity War also did that with some of the characters.
Yeah,
Yeah, to hide like Hulk, being in the Hulkbuster and so on. So yeah, that ending when they like threw the kids in the air and everything. Oh, it was so good. It was and then they ended with the slideshow over the end credits.
I know that was so
Yeah,
manipulative.
it's not as manipulative as here are all the moments of Paul Walker that you like from the earlier Fast and Furious movies while we sing See You Again. But it was close. Like I was like, no, don't do it. And they started the slideshow and it's like, this is when they met.
Yeah, this is the first time that they
Yeah,
booped.
oh my god, yeah, no, the book is just such a great moment, and I'm so happy that that's how he introduced his kids to Plus is through the book. I don't want them to do a next generation. I don't want that to be a cartoon about the baby dragons. I don't want any of that.
Yeah,
They,
me too.
they
They will.
yeah, they eventually will be, but I think Dean Dubois will like wash his hands off of it. So
Yeah,
this is where it ends for me. See ya, guys.
yeah.
And I think your comparison to Harry Potter is very apt because even though it doesn't stretch for the same,
7 films,
yeah, it doesn't stretch for like you see Harry from when he's 11 to when he's 18 or 17, that kind of thing,
but you see Hiccup when he's 15
to when
to
he's like
21.
21. Yeah, so it's
Actually, more than that because he has
that's
kids.
right. Yeah, the so it's like the 19 years later kind of epilogue, but much better than that.
I disagree. Hey,
No,
don't diss the 19
the
year
the Nightingale
epilogue.
epilogue was just strange, like the way they aged them up. Anyway, yeah, so it's a similar feeling of seeing a character grow up, and it is very much a coming of age story. It's a coming of age story of Hiccup, and it is a coming of age story of Toothless as well. And you see both of them become adults and grow up by the end of this movie, and you see the sum of their experiences lead them to who they are. So that is like tremendously satisfying if you've been following the series for all this while. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's really really good. Like this is the way it ended was perfect. It was so good
Yeah. And I think, I mean, it shouldn't matter, but
because like
I'm really sad.
sorry,
I'm really
go
sad
ahead.
to know that the How to Train Your Dragon series will never win an Oscar, cause this won't win an Oscar.
For best animated
I
feature,
don't think it
yeah,
will for best animated feature because it doesn't seem like the type that would.
yeah.
Then again, Brave won, but I shouldn't say that. Uh,
Brave is okay. Yeah.
yeah. Um, but I'm just I really am so grateful for this franchise for just being so consistently good and so consistently true to the characters.
Yeah.
Hiccup is I'm just so happy they never ever changed Hiccup. He grew handsome, whatever. He's still Hiccup at its core.
Yeah.
And he's still dorky and he's still geeky and a little bit of a klutz and he still makes mistakes.
Yeah.
He still
Yeah.
has flaws, but he's a kind and compassionate character, and you never see those characters be leading characters.
Yeah.
Or or at the very because well, actually that's not true. A lot of main characters are kind and compassionate, but
No, as
I feel
in
like
yeah, as
they
established
he
as weak in the beginning.
and he is still kind of weak,
Yeah, but
to be
it's not a
honest.
bad thing, and
Yeah,
yeah.
it's at the end of the day, it's his heart that pushes through, and I don't know. That's just something special about him. Cause like you look at Katniss, right? Like I guess she is kind and compassionate, and she is quote unquote a leader. Not really, but you don't. She's not like he's not cold. He's not a
Yeah,
cold. I
because
don't know why I just
the whole
compared him
thing
and
no, the whole thing
Katniss.
with Katniss is that she's like thoroughly broken, and the whole series is about the many different ways in which she's broken, and that's part of why, like I said, that even though Toothless, sorry, I keep on mixing them up because they both sound like dragony names. Even though they both sound like cute names, yeah. Even though Hiccup has like weathered a lot of tragedy in his life, he still has a very strong support system. He has people around him who care for him and love him. And I think
Yeah.
like this is such a great, role model kind of character. It's a great message for kids that you don't have to be the tough, like badass. You don't have to be the Kit Harington to be the hero of the series.
Do you think okay? I've always wondered. Do you know what like Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Slytherin, and all that are?
Sorry?
Do you know what the houses of
Yeah,
Hogwarts are
yeah,
and what they represent?
yes.
Do you think Hiccup is a Hufflepuff or a Ravenclaw?
That's a very, very good question. I feel like it's more Hufflepuff.
Yeah, I think it's Hufflepuff
Yes,
too.
I'm
But
a
he is smart.
Hufflepuff.
Don't worry, Hufflepuffs are good.
It's
I
so
I love
yeah,
Hufflepuffs.
I know. I love that every time I tell someone I'm a Hufflepuff, they're like, it's okay, it's okay, it's fine. Badger strong. Yeah.
It's okay. Dwayne Johnson is a Hufflepuff.
Yes. I will have that on my wall. Like I'm gonna print that out. Yeah, I feel like he's more of a Hufflepuff than a Ravenclaw.
Yeah. Hufflepuffs are good. Like
Yay.
that's why I love him so much because it's so hard to find a main character who's a Hufflepuff. Cause most of them are either Gryffindors or Slytherins.
Right. Is Captain
But
America a Hufflepuff?
I feel like he's more Gryffindor, but he doesn't do it for the glory. So maybe he is a Hufflepuff.
He's very much like in
See,
between, yeah.
yeah, cause this is how you view a Hufflepuff versus cause I always get Hufflepuff and Gryffindor kind of mixed up. But like Gryffindor, they do good, but most of the time it's for glory.
Right,
And
yeah. So it's a more
Hufflepuffs, they do
traditional
good.
hero type.
Yeah, and Hufflepuff, they do good because they know it's good to do good
Like
things.
Hercules wants his heroes welcome, waiting for him
Yeah,
when he returns right where he
in their
belongs,
arms.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So Hiccup is a Hufflepuff. All right,
Yeah, okay, that's good. That's
that's all we got.
yeah, that's all we got. No, it's beautiful, and I think like I miss watching movies where there's a finality because everything is so franchise oriented. So you have to have a loophole somewhere. There has to be a post credits thing where we
And
need to
even
link to the next
films.
thing. Sorry?
And even films with a finality like Toy Story 3 may not be the final film.
Yeah, that's right. And so I desperately want this to be the last How to Train Your Dragons movie, even though I want more How to Train Your Dragon movies, but I don't want more How to Train Your Dragon movies. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, because like
Maybe short films. Come on, guys.
yeah,
Short films.
yeah, I don't mind like, you know, one of the babies gets lost for 15 minutes. And then the mom like picks him up at the end. It's like you're in trouble. Yeah. Okay. So there's another like thing about the Light Fury. I had a friend tell me she didn't really like the design because in nature usually the females have larger everything, like bigger teeth, bigger claws, bigger everything. So do you have that problem with her design?
No, because I think she's supposed to be made to sell.
Right. Yeah.
So
She's
yeah.
like definitely more like all of the cat attributes are amplified with her.
Yeah.
So Toothless is sort of cat, dog, horse, depending on when he needs to be what. But she's mostly cat.
Yeah.
Like the cool aloofness and the elegance and the prancing around. And yeah, and the fur balls. Oh, there were no fur balls. I no, it's great because when the second movie came out, I told my brother like if they make a third one and there's a girlfriend, I want the girlfriend to be an iridescent like pearly white. And so when it came out, I was very happy that they went with that.
You called that?
Yeah, it's I mean it's not it's kind of an obvious thing to call, but yeah, so like there are How to Train a Dragon Hong Baos with the yin yang kind of symbol.
Yep, sure.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna get that.
that was kind of the first thing when they showed the design. Said someone needs to do a yin yang, you know, kind of. I hate that I made the American A sound yin yang design. American A sound. Yeah.
I'm really glad we got over the whole why the kids American accents. Okay, sure. Whatever.
Was that that's
Wait,
all
you had
Honest
that problem
Trailer's
with
fault,
that, right?
Was that all Honest Trailer's fault? I don't know. Honest Trailers, like I think no.
No, honest trailers didn't do it.
How it should have ended?
I
Fishy did that.
I found out that the people in how hang on the people in honest trailers did not watch How to Train Your
Oh,
Dragon.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
so that's not
it's kind of
good.
weird, right? Yeah,
Yeah, it is
you feel
weird.
like didn't watch everything. Yeah, I think the the kids and I didn't really have a problem with that because I think that was to emphasize the generation gap. That was to emphasize the different attitudes,
Yep,
like
me too.
how Hiccup's attitude towards dragons. That's he's sort of ushering in a new attitude towards dragons. So it was very interesting to see how the utopia of Burke to see like the little mechanical and design things that accommodated the coexistence of dragons. And I love the big dragon who hopped around after the small dragon. That's very, very cute.
Yeah,
As well as the toad-like things that multiply.
I don't understand why they were
The
there.
winged toads. Yeah, I think it's
Like
like it's a
like
comic relief thing,
is
I
it just a
guess. I
joke?
think it's just a
Okay,
joke,
yeah.
yeah. It's basically toads with wings. Like they didn't do anything to the design of a toad other than add wings.
My favorite joke in the film, and I think I was the only one that laughed, was I think Hiccup was talking and then Snotlout said, "Who died and make you cheese?"
Oh yeah, yeah. That was amazing. It was so awful. Yeah, it was like
Everyone was like, "Oh
like
my
was there another
god!"
character who like stared at him or something? There was, right? Like
Everyone stared at
yeah,
him,
everyone's like,
and I think one
dude,
guy
not
smacked
cool.
him.
Yeah, but it was
That
so
was
weird how
really
he
funny.
kept on trying to impress
His
Valka.
mom, yeah, the Hiccup's mom,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was weird, but yeah.
I did find it weird as well, and then he somehow got Aaron into the mix of it,
Yeah.
and I just loved it. I don't know. I found Snotlout very funny in this film. I thought Snotlout and Tough Nut were very funny.
Yeah, I mean, like
Yeah.
when Kristen Wiig like annoyed her way out of being freed by Grimmel by Moira, that was legitimately funny. It reminds me of there was this ad long ago. I think it was for Starhub, and it was about Discovery Channel and National Geographic. So the ad was this kid gets kidnapped, and then he keeps on annoying the kidnappers with facts. Like when the kidnapper is trying to make a ransom note with little cutouts from magazines, he says, Uncle, do you know that the police can use your fingerprints to catch you? And then like every time he does something, he's like, Uncle. And then eventually the kidnappers just let him go because he annoyed them with facts.
Oh, I've never seen that. That sounds
That is
awesome.
funny. It's really, really funny. Yeah, I think it was went from when I was a kid, from like the early 2000s or something, and it was shown on TV. It was, I think, made in Singapore or Malaysia because it was.
Mm.
Yeah. So it ends with them just like throwing him out the van in front of his house, like they gave up.
Yeah, I think I've seen that. Actually, when you talk about the van thing, I think I
Yeah,
remembered
uncle,
seeing
uncle.
that.
And it was great because the kid was so happy about it.
Yeah, so great film. I feel like we didn't really talk about the flaws that much.
Yeah, I guess like for me, it's I didn't really like a lot of the focus on the comic relief characters, but you did, and the villain is the villain, so it's not
Yeah,
really a flaw. It's just that you expect that going in. No, I mean, like when I was going in, I expected. I was like, I told my brother, I said, "How much do you want to bet it ends with babies?" But then when it ended with babies, I was still surprised. I was
yeah,
still like I gasped when the three babies came up because like they first show you Hiccup's kids. And I told my
yeah,
brother, "Oh yeah, it ended with babies, but not the babies we thought." And then it shows you Toothless and Light Fury's kids.
yeah.
the the panda
Yeah.
baby is going to sell so many toys. The one with like the white spot on the stomach.
I really hope this film does well in the box office, but at the same time, I hope it doesn't do that
That
well
it
because it
demands,
may
yeah,
inspire.
that
Yeah.
Katzenberg gets dollar signs in his eyes.
Oh, Katzenberg is out of
Oh,
DreamWorks.
he is. I didn't know that. Okay,
Yeah,
who's running DreamWorks now?
and I think they just announced a
Oh,
woman.
is it?
She was in the DreamWorks TV.
Oh, okay.
I think
Or
so.
is it? Is Chris Melandri like overseeing all of it?
No, because
The
I remembered someone from DreamWorks TV got promoted to DreamWorks Film,
Oh, okay.
and she was in charge of everything. I think so.
All right, yeah, that's yeah. I'm happy Katzenberg's out.
He was the one that suggested Toothless dies at the end of the
Oh
first
my
film.
god, is that true? I didn't know that. That's
Yeah,
amazing. Yeah.
because he felt like there wasn't enough
Oh my
stakes
god.
in the
Yeah.
first film, so that pushed them to have Hiccup lose
He's
his
so
his leg. So I guess
awful. My
yeah, no,
yeah.
and after he said yeah, so Toothless can sorry, you have the emotion, that you have the stake, and then we still can make sequels.
What an asshole.
Well, I think he meant as a joke, but
I know.
in
But
the
I
end the
mean,
film did
yeah,
really
my
well.
favorite Jeffrey Katzenberg story is that he saw a kid fidgeting during the test reading of The Little Mermaid, so he proposed that they cut part of your world. And
Mhm.
then Alan Menken proceeded to have a panic attack, and they found a way to convince him to keep part of your world in,
Yeah.
which like very strongly parallels how the test screenings for The Wizard of Oz had them suggest that the MGM people wanted to cut Over the Rainbow because they felt that it slowed the movie down and they wanted to get to
Yeah.
Oz. So it's like, yeah, can you imagine Little Mermaid without part of your world? So yeah, that
It's two. No,
uh
there is no such thing.
that's what Jeffrey Katzenberg would have wanted. So yeah, and I think like a lot of the early DreamWorks animation stuff, especially like the Shrek stuff, when they took digs at Disney, it was just him working out all of his hatred of Disney.
Yeah.
Like they had like they had some very very mean kind of digs at Disney, and there was the opening of Despicable Me 3 reminded me of that because they had the submarines mercilessly slaughter Nemo, and then Marlin is left holding Nemo's fin, and that's how the movie opens. It was like
I don't remember
this is the
that.
opening of Despicable Me 3. It's underwater. Gru is in one submarine, and then Kristen Wiig's in another submarine. And before the submarines enter frame, you see a clownfish and a smaller clownfish, and the submarine murders the smaller clownfish.
I must have fell asleep in the first part of the film. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't remember that.
we
I
need
watched that on a
we need
plane.
to get you hating Illumination at least once in this
I
episode.
can't. I can't. You don't understand. They may be making the Zelda movie, so I have to go there.
You just get Benedict Cumberbatch to do Link in his Grinch voice.
Don't tempt me.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
I think that
So,
that very neatly wraps up uh
oh, by
this
the
movie.
way,
Yes.
new DreamWorks logo, so that's
I
interesting.
miss the old one.
Yeah, me too. This
Mm,
one felt very long,
yeah,
and I was hoping there'll be a like Toothless in the
me
background
too.
or
Yes,
something,
because
or like a light fairy in the
Toothless
background.
like flying through the background of the logo was very cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
in the first film.
that kind of functioned as the opening credits, I guess.
And I also like how in the beginning after they do the raid, Hiccup goes like, "This is Burke."
Yeah,
I can't do his voice. "This is Mark" or
like when
whatever.
they're all flying
And
back to Bert. Yeah,
flying back, yeah, and he's like introducing this is Burke to the dragons, and he's doing his introduction of the dragons again.
yeah,
So it's really cool that they brought back the "This is Burke" thing, because I really liked that in the first film, and they
yes.
always brought that back.
And then
So
they brought back
yeah,
the boop.
the boop.
The boop.
Uh,
Oh, so good, so
now
good.
he can draw. Um, I love Hiccup.
Yeah,
Hiccup's an amazing movie character. I can't emphasize that enough. Then again, I like boring characters, so I don't really know.
I like
Uh,
Toothless, and I like
alright.
both of them together. Yeah, and
I love both of them
I'm very
together.
happy this is
Fun
how it
fact.
ended. Yes, fun fact.
Fun fact. The first film wasn't really about Hiccup and Toothless. It was more about Hiccup and his
And
dad
Stoic, yeah.
and Stoic, and it was Toothless that ultimately broke and repaired their
That's
relationship.
right, yeah. And you always love like father son kind of
And
stories.
I love my father son.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
So that movie had the best of both worlds. It was a father son
yep.
story and a boy and
And
his
boy
ex
and his
story,
ex.
yes.
And a Hufflepuff.
are,
And a Hufflepuff as the main character.
are you a
Yeah.
Hufflepuff?
I'm not. I'm a
You're a
Gryffindor.
Gryffindor, yeah. Okay.
I do things for glory. Why do you think I'm doing this?
I'm doing this so I can listen to it on the train. Oh yeah, so
Okay.
peek behind the curtain. Can you send me the Wreck-It Ralph episode?
Oh yeah. No, because I was waiting for the thumbnail and
Ah,
that
okay.
didn't
I
come
wonder who
around.
is responsible for making the thumbnail. Do you have to like
I need
shoot
one for
daggery
How
eyes
to
at me?
Train Your Dragon as well.
And I don't think
Yeah.
the Venom one is actually up. I lost the Venom
Is
one,
it?
so if you could send me, yeah, so if
Okay.
you could send me Venom and the Wreck-It Ralph Spider-Verse combo episode,
Yeah.
yeah,
I'll try to upload all of them at
that would be
once.
fun. Yeah, I'm very happy we got to do this. We got to finally talk about Aquaman, Bumblebee, and Mary Poppins, and we got to like catch you hours after watching the last Dragon
Still not over
movie.
it?
Yeah. Oh, the ending. It's so good, so beautiful. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know when we're gonna talk about movies again. Oh, we can review Lego Movie
Oh
2.
yes, that's right. That's soon. I keep on forgetting that soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am looking forward to that. Like the Welcome to Apocalypse Burke set is marvelous, where the literal like Statue of Liberty on wheels, like they made the set look very close to how it looks in the movie.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool.
so that set is like thousands and thousands of pieces. So I would love to see that in person. I think one of the mall displays should have it. So I'm gonna go look for that.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to Lego Movie 2 too, because that Lego Movie was my favorite animated film that came out in 2014 when
Which is
How to
also
Train
the
Your
year that
Dragon
How to Train Your
2
Dragon
well, it
2 came
also
out.
came out.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was saying a lot that I
Yeah.
liked it more than How to Train Your Dragon 2. I
It's a
don't
piece of it's like genius. The first movie is genius. Yeah.
yeah, because it's by Phil Lord and Chris Miller.
Yeah, it has that and you met them. Oh my god, so cool.
I know.
Yeah. It has that like
I met
anarchic
and
streak.
cried in front of them.
That's great.
That's
Yeah. I think
great.
they're used
That's
to
not
it.
embarrassing at
No, I think
all.
they're used to it. And yeah, I kept on thinking about the story you told me about the girl who cried when she heard Miles speak Spanish to his mom. And I was like, yeah, that's why these movies are important. That's why these characters are important. That's why representation is important. So,
Mhm.
keep making movies, keep giving people who don't have platforms. Because
And speaking of representation, it's kind of weird to see a Mongolian in How to Train Your Dragon.
oh yeah,
There was a Mongolian,
I think
right?
so, yeah, because there was like a little tribal council, like the United Nations of Evil Dragon Hunters. And I love I
Yeah.
thought that was quite funny because my brother was like, Chinese? And I was like, yeah, I think so. It would be great if
That's really odd, by the
yeah,
way,
yeah,
to
if
see
out
that.
of nowhere like Mulan started stabbing the guy.
Yeah.
Oh, it was really funny because when I went for the movie music concert where they played the How to Train Your Dragon theme, they played it in very close proximity to the Mulan suite. So the
Mhm.
artwork in the program was Mulan riding Toothless.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
Oh my
I'll
god.
send that over to you again. I thought that was such a
Okay.
cute drawing.
I thought that was Hiccup. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. Oh, speaking of Mulan,
Yes.
did you know that I met the guy who directed Mulan? I bought a book from him. Didn't realize he directed
Oh my
Mulan.
god. What's his
Yep,
name?
Tom Bancroft.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I bought a book from. The thing is, I knew him before I met him, but I didn't know that he
Directed
directed
Mulan,
Mulan.
yeah.
So when I started reading his book, I'm like, oh, okay, that's great. What? He directed Mulan?
Now, Mulan is one of your favorite Renaissance movies, right?
Yes,
Yes.
it's probably my second favorite
Yeah.
after Aladdin.
Yeah, I think it's up there
Or
for me.
Aladdin, I don't know how you guys pronounce it.
American Aladdin. Yeah.
Aladdin.
Aladdin.
Yeah.
Are you looking forward to
No,
to Hot
nope,
Jafar?
no.
Hot
Who cares?
Jafar.
Okay, can I just say I'm not interested in handsome villains. They are evil. Okay,
The
like
world
why
needs
are we
more
so
people.
attracted to
The
evil
world needs more people
characters?
like you. Yeah. This trope is called Draco in leather pants.
Okay, I hate Draco too. He's a bully.
I love it so much. So the quote on that TV tropes page is this comedian saying that if Satan tried to conquer Earth, he would have a tough time because there would be a girl saying, I could change him.
Yeah.
So he's like, he's Satan.
Oh, it's so annoying
Yeah,
how
I'm
like
glad that you're
and
not on
like
that train. Yeah.
and there's a Ted Bundy trailer that
Oh,
came
with
out
Zac
with Zac
Efron,
Efron,
yes.
and people are saying, "Oh man, I hate that they're sexualizing or they're making Ted Bundy look so charming." It's like, yeah, that was who he
Yeah, that was
was.
his
And
MO. Yeah.
also, if you look, and a lot of girls were in love with Ted Bundy even
Oh
after
yeah, yeah.
he was caught,
Yeah, that's
and it's
right.
because of the whole they love a good-looking villain,
Yeah,
and it's really
it's a
gross.
similar
And I think
thing
people,
with the Boston bomber, the one who lived, right? Yeah.
I don't know, I don't know about that. I know about the Ted Bundy
Yes.
thing,
Yeah.
and it's really gross when bullies, just because they're good-looking, they get a lot of attention.
Yeah. Exactly. Like there was, I think someone had this experiment when on Tinder they put in their bio that they were a child molester, but they catfished using very attractive guy photos, and
Hmm.
then the results of that are very disturbing. Like all the messages that the fake account got. One of them was like, "We all make mistakes." Another one was like, "I stole a Kinder Bueno when I was 6."
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why we ended up here. I think we ended up here because I brought up Hot
Yeah.
Jafar.
Not looking forward to that film. But anyway, thank you so much for listening.
Yeah,
Please go watch How to Train Your Dragon.
this was fun. Thank you, Jerry. Yeah, I'm glad we got to do the first episode of 2019 about this movie that's very, very important to you.
Yeah, it's very important to me. I'm gonna watch it again on Friday with my friends. I hope they cry. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.